So moving on to memory management, primitive versus the objective. So as you know, there is two types of data type, primitive and the non-primitive. Primitives are simple string, numbers, all those things. Object means the compounds, complex data. Okay. So moving on to memory in JS. So JS automatically manages memory. So memory is where the JavaScript store data while executing the code. Okay. So as I told previously, so there are two types of memory, that is a stack memory and the heap memory. So you can see here memory heap, in the sense we will for the complex data, so we will be having randomly like this, it will store heap. In a data structure you have studied what is heap, all those things. Stack in the sense left in last in first out, so it will be as a stack. So it will the object will move on to the text like this. Stack means like this, it means it is like to store a complex data. So let us move on to stack memory. So stack memory is a small, fast memory area where JavaScript stores simple values and the function calls. Simple values in the sense the primitive data we can say. So it will store only the simple value where we can run will be a fast memory area. So stack memory stores temporary and simple data in order. So as a primitive value, it works in left in first. As it is a stack, so it will have the property of the stack, how like how it is arranged, how it is going to work. Then stored in stack, what and all will be stored? Number, string, booleans, null, undefined. These are all primitive data values. So the primitives are stored in a stack and copied by value. So here is the example. Let a is equals to 10. So this is nothing but a copy. So in a stack memory, we can copy by value. Okay. I will tell the copy in the heap memory how it is going to happen. But in stack memory, it will copy the value. So if we assign b is equals to a, so then the a value will sorry, b is equals to 20. Then console dot a, then we have 10. Then console dot b, we are having 20. Nothing in a sense, if we am copying b is equals to 8, it is initially b is equals to 10. So let we can change the values. So b is equals to 20. So if I am consoling, it will give us 20. Okay. Heap memory in the sense. So moving on to this, it is nothing but a large memory area where JavaScript stores objects and the complex data. So it stores a dynamic data or an object that can be grow and change. So you can see, so it is a very large memory area. So if the object is vast, so it can expand itself. So it will be easy for a complex data to store and expand. So the examples like which and all data will be like functions, object, and arrays. So it actually stores object, which is some reference type. So objects are stored in heap and copied by the referent. So in the case of primitive values, it is copied by values, but in the case of objective, it is copied by reference. So here is the example. So let object 1 is equals to name Rakshita. So if I am copying, so it will only copied by reference. So the object to dot name. So I have changed to JS. So if I what will happen? Object one dot name. So I am getting JS. Nothing in the sense the object will be copied by the reference. So nothing in the sense address of the of that object will be copied. So in the case if I change the if I copied object 1 to object 2, so it will be copied the reference. So what and all there inside the object will be copied. So that time, so what will happen if I change object 2, it will affect on the object 1 also. But in the case of primitive, it just copy the value. So if I change the uh, value of the another, the first one will not change its value. So this is heap and stack memory. So object references, shallow copy versus deep copy. So this copy method we will discuss it here. Object references. Object references means when you assign an object to another variable, both variable points to the same memory location, same object in the heap. So objects are stored in a heap memory, as I told. A variable stores the reference or the address of that object, not the actual object. Okay. So changing one affects the another. So object reference in the sense, so for example, there is a one object. So I am so to another variable, I am copying the same object. That time it will. So for example, here in the sense you can see same example, but here object one will be user one. So here user will having name Rakshita. So if I am copying the user one to user two, so that if I change user 2 name also, it is affecting one user one. Okay. So for example, so as the object reference, so nothing in the sense, this object will be pointing to the same memory location. So this is so it is pointing user one and user two are pointing the object in the heap. So only the reference. So user one reference and the user two reference is the same. So what will happen here? You can see user one points to the object in that heap. So if I assign that object into user two, it copies a reference, not the object will be stored. So if I nothing in the sense, it will point to the same object. So if I change user two, also it will affect user one. So to overcome this copy, so for nothing in the sense, so if I change user 2, it is changing the user 1. To overcome this problem, they have introduced shallow copy and the deep copy.